and welcome to the RSGPodcast's Triumphant Return. Otherwise known as...
That sounds super...
otherwise known as episode 90. We know you bitches missed us.
Episode 90.
All I think... Well, we have been getting views on iTunes and Stitcher.
Yeah, but those are people in Russia that...
Maybe.
You think I'm pretty sure they're probably bots.
Yeah, almost certainly.
It's very possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Facebook hits are bots.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
All you bots missed us.
Yeah. This one's for you, bots.
Welcome back to RSGPodcast.
Yeah. Go grab America beer.
Bro, that's so robotic.
What you can't see is that we're all doing the robot notions.
I'm not doing
well,
I'm not a
Roby's
robotist,
not
you
because
assholes.
he's a hipster and he's too cool for it. But
I believe in all forms of social justice warriorism.
That fucker's an android. Fucking android.
You prefer the term mandroid? Okay.
Mandroid. Oh. So, yeah, we're in a new location now, so you probably still hear the echoes because soundproofing is annoying, and we don't do it.
Plebes is what it is.
Plebes. But yeah, we got some things to talk about. Legion's dropped for World of Warcraft, if you're into that. We've all been playing that a lot. Well, not Roby. Roby's just getting started.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're also YouTube heroes.
Yes,
We can discuss.
YouTube heroes.
And we'll go.
Heroes.
We'll get into details about what exactly constitutes a YouTube hero.
And why?
Yeah.
And why?
Not why they're a hero, but why YouTube is even doing this.
It's ridiculous. And then I've already forgotten the third topic we were going to discuss.
We want to talk a little bit about like Luke Cage and just what Marvel's doing with the Netflix series, future plans, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'll just jump right into it.
Let's jump right in.
Yeah.
I don't think we can say that.
Oh, jump right into it?
Yeah, I don't think that's something we can say. I'm pretty sure that's Philip DeFranco's thing. Let's just jump right into it, TM.
Oh.
I could be wrong.
Philip's gonna totally sue us now.
Who is Philip DeFranco?
Oh, get out of town.
I'm just kidding. I know who DeFranco
Like,
is.
even if you don't like Philip
doesn't
DeFranco,
know.
you gotta know who that... Man.
He doesn't know.
This
He's
is like...
saying that he knows right now because we made fun of him about it, but he doesn't know.
He's an OG YouTuber.
Yeah, no, I've seen him. He does like 10, 15-minute little clips about like what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I know I just kind of said that. There's a whole bunch of people.
I'll just throw a random guess out there because this is what everyone on YouTube does right now.
This is probably correct.
I'm just going to drop it out here like I think I know what I'm talking about.
We are not going to talk about Trump putting the pussy on the chain wax.
Pussy on the chain wax. God.
Good Trumpers.
We might. No, we won't.
No.
Politics, they don't belong. Yeah, we'll do. No. So anyway, you guys want to jump into Legion first, since we've been playing that a lot?
Yeah.
Tell me about the magic of Legion.
No, actually, let's go with you, Roby. You're the guy who just started, who has only heard this like from other people for the most part.
Okay.
Like the character you're playing is still solidly within WoD.
Right.
Warlords of Draenor.
But yeah, my priest is still 95.
Yeah. So, from what you've heard, how do you feel about Legion with no actual experience?
With no actual experience, I'm still overall against the concept of epic weapons or legendary weapons or whatever they're called.
Sorry.
Artifact weapons. Sorry. Artifact weapons.
Thank you.
Because I think it's still a pointless... they could have put that in the talent trees instead. Everything that's there, they could have just put into a talent tree instead. But they put it into an artifact weapon. That was their choice. Fine, whatever. I suppose, in theory, it doesn't really make that much difference whether or not they put it into a artifact weapon or into a tree or whatever. It's the same thing in the end.
I mean,
it's still a tree you have to fill out.
Within the life of Legion, personally, as someone who's played a lot, I'm okay with it as just a constant character progression thing. It's not super impactful, but it does feel good when you get a specific new trait that you've been wanting to get.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem with it is the longevity for this system and WoW overall.
We kind of touched on that back in the last podcast we did before our break, just because there's no indication of what's going on after this in regards to that. And you're absolutely right. Like, what happens when you max out? Let's just say you play all the time and you max out all three of your artifact weapons.
Or 4 if you're a druid.
4 if you're a druid.
Oh, I forgot about that. They do.
Yeah,
have 4,
or 2 if you're a DK. Or DH, I mean. Right? Because there's only 2. For demon hunters, they only have 2 specs.
Yep, only 2.
When you've maxed out your maximum
The
number.
druid stole one ours.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking druids.
You can have it back. Feral as shit, so just
But yeah,
take
but
it back.
when you max it out and you go on to the next like expansion,
Are they going to start giving you weapons
Well,
back, or are they magically going to
let's
break? And
Let's be honest, rogues should only have 1. Because, honest to God, why do they need 3 different sets of weapons? But,
bro, one set are swords.
right.
One set are daggers for, dagger builds.
For daggering stuff, right?
Right.
As opposed to cutting stuff, they're going to cut stuff a little bit
and
differently.
I'm not sure what the
daggers
third
are stabbers, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's a
No,
sword
the
gun.
third one is more stabbers.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, the reason why they have 3 is the same reason any of them have 3. The traits within the weapon are specific to the spec.
Yeah.
It's the only real reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Blizzard had the job cut out for them when they're like, oh man, we have a lot of daggers we need to make look cool. That sounds hard.
Yeah.
Because they're daggers.
Daggers, right?
Which, I
they're-
mean, to be perfectly honest, starting in Cataclysm, the weapon design has just been crap, in my opinion. There hasn't been, like, I don't know, in Lich King, you got, like, the weapons that they created seemed like they were just primal and rough. I mean, it was like steel. It almost looked like something that was created, and I know you're going to love this reference, Roby, but, like, created by the orcs in Lord of the Rings. Because...
Okay.
They just
very
looked crude. Yeah, they
Right.
just look crude. They look like what you would find in that type of environment.
Okay.
So I just don't. I mean, maybe it's a personal preference for me. I don't like flashy, big, gigantic weapons that don't look like
I
they
think
serve
like after a while, there's only so much you can do with a staff. Like you can only put so many different like flying, like floating things around it or whatever to be like, this is a cool staff. It's a fucking staff's a fucking staff's a fucking staff. It doesn't really matter. But that's always been my opinion. Is that like I don't give a shit what it looks like. I'll just fucking log everything down to like level 2 gray staff that you find in the fucking wilderness somewhere. Just looks like a stick. I don't care.
The WoW weapons, the WoW armor. The one thing that we can really like count on is how this item can never actually exist as a weapon
Yeah.
Right.
or a piece of armor. Nobody's gonna ever wear shoulder pads that are twice the height of their head.
Right.
And 4 times the length. It's just
Yeah.
Blizzard has actually commissioned a blacksmith to make different weapons, like some of their different artifact weapons, and he had recently made the Lightbringer, or I'm sorry, the Ashbringer, and he was talking about how he got rid of a whole giant portion of steel that usually would come in the actual model. He goes, this weapon would be over 200 pounds and would be impossible to wield.
Right.
I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's good. They're going to be purely ornamental, and
Yeah.
even ornamental in a way that is like, this is obviously a fantasy sword. Nobody's actually ever using this.
Right.
But it's as far as like the artifact
That's
weapon.
part of the creep too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's all part of the power creep of the fact that the game is like 10 plus years old now. You know, you can't have the same. No one wants the same. Everyone wants to be able to feel like they've improved, which means bigger and better, more shiny, everything. You know, so it's all part of that creep the same way.
I feel like that's like one of my biggest complaints really about artifact weapons. And let me say before I continue is I actually like the artifact weapon system. I'm for it for the most part. I have a problem with its longevity, but other than that, I'm pretty well for it. Though I do think that some of the weapons just look bad, and they've managed to look a lot because you can switch looks. You can earn different skins for your weapons, and even most of those still look bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some of them look really cool. I think they kind of like the what is that? Affliction Warlock? No, not Affliction. Demonology. Demonology Warlocks have a cool floating skull.
Yeah.
That's like a new thing entirely,
Right.
and that's cool. And I'm glad they like kind of like pushed it a little bit to get something new like that in the game.
Well, fire mages have the 3 floating firewalls of Kael'thas, don't they? With their artifact?
Yeah, with Fellow Moran. But it's really just an effect of the sword. It's still just a sword and book for the most part, but
Okay.
you do get a neat effect. And some of the weapons have that, some of them don't.
Yeah. So, I don't
was
know. Artifact
fun.
weapons, kind of a turn off for me, really. But I'll do it because I have to. Because it has to be done.
It does have to be done.
It's the garrisons for this expansion.
Just don't get rid of your. Well, if you do a melee class or some like a range class, other than caster, don't get rid of your like blues that you got for the Legion event, because that's what I did. I sold all my stuff because I figured I got artifact weapons. I don't need this shit anymore. And then when I was playing my paladin and went into tanking, you cannot do the tanking. Or you cannot do. Yeah, you can't do the protection artifact quest line as red. You just can't.
Yeah, you can.
I didn't. I was dying so many times.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is one of the problems. Is that like, if you go like you can be red to do it. The problem is that it's the quest. They're a little harder than the normal quest mobs, but the mechanics of that quest are specific to
you being a prop paladin.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had to go buy. I went to the auction house and dumped some gold and bought like a mace and a shield. And I figured, well, if I'm going to buy a shield for this stupid event, I'm going to get a shield that looks badass so that I can just transmog the shield into it. Ended up getting that bulwark.
Yeah, the bulwark.
Yeah, that thing is,
like
thing's
the
awesome.
giant like kite shield spikes on it.
But yeah, I don't know. Artifacts, I'm pretty much for. But.
Yeah. So that's not something I'm really looking forward to. Class halls sounds sort of like a watered down version of garrisons, or like a concentrated version of garrisons. Maybe is a better term.
I think
for
it's a
it.
better term for it. Yeah.
Like instead of having a garrison, everything's more concentrated, and you're there again with other people. Again, so everyone feels more social, even though you're not still necessarily more social.
They should just take the garrison and make it a guild hall. You still have the garrison. It's big enough for that sort of thing. If you got the level 3, why don't they just convert that to the guild hall and then just...
Because that's way out on wherever...
I understand, but they got portals, bro. That's what they would have. They'd have portals in there to all the major cities and stuff, and it would be... I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Reuse, like you got...
Well, all the guild halls are in separate places within the new realm, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, well, the class halls, yeah.
Class halls.
Class halls. They're not even necessarily in the Broken Isles, but there are portals. You can get to and from them easily from Dal.
Right.
Generally speaking, the exception being, I believe, Death Knights who have just a straight portal to theirs.
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
the Death Gate
same thing with the Druids.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, the order halls, class halls, whatever, sounds interesting enough, I suppose. I want to say, like, it sounds like an interesting mechanic at first. So when the missions were something that like I enjoy doing because it's the easiest version of dailies, right? I just pick and assign, and that's it. So that sounds like something I'm looking forward to trying that out, see how that works out with your AP experience stuff from there, and what they do there in the order halls. The new dungeons sound like dungeons, so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the dungeons for the most part don't travel too far out of the realm of what we're used to in WoW. In
Right.
reality, we do get, the Mythic Plus stuff, which gives you a nice variable difficulty. I like it. I think it's a good system. I think that it's still doing the same thing that WoW does, where you get dungeons and then you run them ad nauseum.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it is with Saramar, the like max level zone. You have to grind out the reputation. It's going to take you like a month to get all the way through the end, and you need it to move forward in like raids and stuff like that. And in the world, it's just, I understand why they're doing it. They want to create something that you do in the off time between the different patches and like the content patches.
Right. We'll have to give you something to time sync.
Right.
And that's fine. It's fine. So
I think actually Saramar and even the class holes and a lot of things that we're doing right now. I mean, it's been out not even a full 2 months yet. Okay,
right.
So we're still in the infancy of this expansion, for the most part. The thing we have to remember is that we're going to get stuff to continue the Saramar storyline. We're going to get, because that's going to have we have a nice framework. Saramar is an interesting zone. Like I said, it's a max level zone. And it has, I think, a fairly interesting story. I hesitate to say compelling. I hesitate to say compelling for anything in WoW.
Right.
For the most part. Because it's just MMO story, which makes it a little bit contrived a lot of times.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good story. It's fun to do that stuff that they. Some of the things that they give you to do are pretty fun, and it's fun to see where that's going to go.
Yeah.
But it's obvious they're going to build on that. Well, hopefully they're going to build on that. Same thing with like Class Halls. There's a Class Hall storyline. They'll hopefully also get some continuation there.
Yeah, because like I finished on my DK and I'm like, great. So I've done everything I need. Now what do I do next?
Yeah. But no, as you said, Rick, Class Halls are definitely like a pared down garrison.
Right. So just like the concentrated version of like what was best out of the garrison sort of like situation.
You know what I wish the Class Hall had though? I wish it had quests where you had to go in with other of your current class. Like DKs, you had to get a group of 5 DKs and go do a mission. Like there's something that only the DKs could do, like something in Northwind or something like that. I mean, I think that'd be really cool if they just had like requirements. One had to be unholy, one had to be frost, one had to be blood, and that was like the thing. But they don't. Just to give you more, because right now you get the feeling that you're basically the top dog on the chain, right?
Right.
You're the champion, you're the man. Because of you, the world survives another day.
Yeah.
But there's like 50,000 of you.
Right.
So
everyone, which is again my issue with Artifact Weapon is that like they give it to you to make you feel special, but everybody got it, so you're not special.
I just wish
Ashburger's not special. Every Red Paladin has one. It's garbage now. You know, you used to have an iconic weapon that was cool, and then now it's like nope.
Why does what somebody else have take away from your self-worth?
It does.
Why?
Because that's how it is.
That's
how self-worth fucking works.
Because you're an immature child. All right, move on.
Moving on.
No, just no. That's actually one of the biggest problems.
I understand how self-worth works.
It is one of the biggest problems I have with like MMOs in general.
Right.
All MMOs treat you like you're the only person who's doing this.
Right. The only person who exists, and in reality, that just isn't the fucking case.
But
because you can clearly see, like, you go into order hall, and everyone's like, "Oh, thank God, he's here." It's like, which he are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's just Blizzard doubling down on that.
Yeah.
Really thinly veiled, like, illusion.
Right.
But it's not any different than what we've had.
Feed your ego or whatever, and I'm like, it just seems like such a like trite way to do it. Like, come on, guys, really? I would
prefer a system where people go, okay, like you are one of many.
Right.
That would be fantastic. But no one's really done it yet. So I would like to.
Because everyone wants you to feel like everyone feels like in an MMO they have to force you into like being the hero or whatever. And I'm like, just nah, it's cool. I know I'm not the only one here doing this. Okay, so let's not pretend that like I'm the superhero who's saving the world.
Some MMOs do it better than others. Final Fantasy did that, where you weren't like the special person. You were just a guy.
A person, right. You were just a member of that guild.
You were just a member of that guild, and you did these like, hey, you're a person who does this thing, go do this thing.
Go do this thing, yeah.
I will tell the next guy behind you the same exact
The same thing, right.
But it did a better job of like acknowledging the fact that
you're one of many adventurers in the world. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to leveling it up, seeing how it is, hanging out with the guys. Really, like that's what's really about.
Yeah, it's the social.
Yeah, we did get the band back together for the expansion.
So.
Really, the one of the biggest reasons why I am really interested in Legion is because there seems to be, and hopefully this will continue, a paradigm shift in what they've decided to do development-wise. For a long time, they're like, we need to get these expansions out. We want to do it like a year, boom, boom. They never did it.
Right.
Okay. They never made that goal.
Right.
And the problem they were running into is they realized that no matter how many people they put on a project, at a certain point, it doesn't get done faster. Yeah. Right. It just means you can do more stuff. Yeah. Not that you can do but it doesn't go any faster. So what they'd been doing to try and reach this goal is they would get to a point. They go, okay, like in Warlords of Draenor, they're like, okay, well, that's all we had planned for this, guys. So we're just gonna quit supporting Draenor. We pull people off, and we gotta start working on the next expansion so we get it out fast. You can't get it out faster.
Right.
It takes a certain amount of time. Period. It just takes a certain amount of time. So they're like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. We're just gonna go to when it's ready, and then we're gonna support the shit out of whatever we have currently going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their plan currently. And I'm looking forward to seeing that, because the last time we saw an expansion that did that, and not always well, but did it, was Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
Wrath had a lot of patches, a lot of raids. Even when we even had a raid after the Lich King, with the Ruby Sanctum. I mean, it was a throwaway raid, but we had it.
It was a garbage raid, that's for sure.
Dude, the first time we went into that thing, though, we thought we were this will be fine. We're top tier, it'll be easy.
We fine, we good.
Wreck. We just got wrecked every single time.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, mechanics again. Try that. We need you to have this for a while, so mechanics.
Yeah.
I have yet to go back into that raid.
I have.
Yeah.
I've gone in there.
Is there anything good in there? Like
Not
mods or
really.
anything?
No. I don't even think there's anything really worth mogging in there, for the most part.
That was such a deceptive little area, though, because they had all those portals underneath Wormrest Temple that you're like, oh, shit, there's going to be dragon raids through all this stuff. We're going to do all this thing. And no, two.
Well, I think, with anything, you're going to see shit that gets, that ends up on the cutting room floor. I don't think Legion's going to be any different. But I'm just looking forward to seeing how... Because that was, why I loved Wrath. There was always this feeling of, something new to do. And
Well, there was a lot of good, I think, good short raids to do in Wrath, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You had the tournament.
Yeah.
And you had, obviously, was it not Cinder Ghost, the Black Dragon,
Yeah.
whose name I forget.
Well, even the PvP area.
All I remember is Runaway Little Girl from when the fire comes. That what's its name? What that add-on is will yell at you whenever the fire comes. The fire wave comes.
Yeah.
Run away, little girl. I'm like, oh shit, where's the fire? Where's the fire?
Even the PvP
fire.
zone had a pretty good like little 4-man boss raid.
Yeah.
That gave you decent stuff. So like it made you want to go win Wintergrass, so you could go even in Tol Barad.
Well, that was the
carry
best.
over.
That was way better than Tol Barad, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think Wintergrass was far better than Tol Barad, which I think was not as good of a PvP zone.
Do you think it was because Wintergrass was so large?
I think it was because Wintergrass, the thing that Tol Barad really didn't do was that there was a lot of different little areas around Tol Barad that you wanted to be constantly. But Wintergrass, it started off that way, but it culminated, in this giant base siege. And that was really fun.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah,
and that's
Tol
what
Barad was just a different map for the same Arathi basin that we've been playing since
that's true.
2002 or whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck ever.
we don't need a bunch of multiple points. It's a PvP. Bring them together.
Right.
Make them fight.
Make them fight.
Having all the different ones or whatever, holding them for the longest time. It was just Arathi Basin again.
Yeah.
Like literally just exactly Arathi Basin again.
I think I had more fun in the beginning area of Tol Barad as opposed to the actual fighting area, when it went up. Because you'd be on opposite sides, and you had the bridge and the spiders and stuff there, and you had your dailies, and that was a blast to go through there and fight those hell kittens from the Beast Mastery overpowered spec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was fun too to gank people after.
Oh yeah.
After we won Tol Barad, they're trying to come back across the bridge. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
you thought you were good,
Murder the shit out of some
but
bitches.
you had a ton of people helping you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, it's starting to it looks pretty good. We'll see how much they continue to support it, and they're gonna have to be on top of their game. They can't
Yeah. Well, you know what I'd like to see them do
what's that?
is, as far as PvP goes, is to take some battlegrounds out of the equation.
I'd be fine with this.
Retire some?
Retire some, or whatever, or
Rotate them.
Yeah, just rotate them on a monthly basis or a weekly basis.
Yeah, just have
So
I would
these
even
are the only ones that are available this month.
I would do a month at the least.
Yeah.
A month at the least.
You could, at the least, you could even do base them off the arena seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun too.
In this arena season, we're gonna bring back, these three battlegrounds or whatever. But because I think right now there's so many different battlegrounds, and all of them are basically the fucking same. You have basically two different versions of Warsong Gulch.
Dude, every time they've tried
You have basically
to do
two different versions of Arathi Basin.
Every time they try to do something new, it's been just a resounding failure. People want And I've actually had a very long discussion with a number of PvPers, serious PvPers, on different forums about this. We talked a lot about like what we do to like make PvP good again or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, what about new arenas, new battlegrounds? And they're like, don't even care. I've been PvPing in WoW for 11 years. I've been doing Warsong Gulch for 11 years. Still my favorite one. Every time I go in there, I'm never sad.
Well, it's because Warsong Gulch is simple. You have flag here, fight in the center, get
right.
flag.
It's always been about the PvP.
Right.
So like when they do try and do something new, like the balls or whatever in mists or the mines in mists, everyone's just like, this sucks,
right.
and it just doesn't. It doesn't work out very well for them.
Right.
Like the Arathi Basins, the Warsong Gulches, and their clones are generally the favorites.
Right.
You know, the only thing I think that they should do is maybe put in some kind of like, what is that? Just like you just kill other people. Like
yeah, they need like a death match.
A death match, yeah. Just a
death match PvP matches.
Which
someplace would be pretty awesome. Just fucking put it in Hillspread.
Well,
just create like a Hillspread South Shore map.
Oh,
and just fucking deathmatch.
Dude, South Shore belongs to the Horde now, man. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right now, the free-for-all area is in the belly of Dalaran.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Ed and I will go down there and then just, like, wreck everything. It's so much fun.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I really, like, at
and
first...
And the Brawlers arenas that they have.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the Underbelly at first was kind of crap because it wasn't CRZ'd. So there wasn't... so everybody was down there. And so it was a real problem. You got a lot of lag. You would like, before you knew what was going down, you'd be dead.
Right.
From just AoE effects. And so it wasn't very fun at first, but then they fixed it and now it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you'll be doing a boss fight down there because random rares will pop up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm blood on the DK, I'll go down there and start tanking them, and then everybody will we'll start fighting. Well, then somebody come by and bribe the head guard or the guard captain, and he'll send all his guards on break. Means that your area then becomes free for all. So if you're tanking, you got all these effects coming at you. All of a sudden, your life starts really going down, and the healers are no longer healing you. And then it's just fun because then you just start exploding everything.
Killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I'm actually a fan of the Underbelly, apparently.
We'll check it out, see what it's like.
They also do something really good that kind of helps. Like they do daily quests that you can do. So once you get so far in Saramar, you get to unlock world quests. And there's different rewards for those and different things for those. But one thing that I really like about them is that you get reputation for them, and you get a chest at the end of it. So you do 4 quests, you get a chest for that a faction, and in there's going to be a faction token where you can get more rep with them, and in a chest they can give you loot, and it also has a chance to drop legendary items for you.
Nice.
Which I don't know. That's like I'll jump on. There'll be 1,000 little world quest maps or things. I'll just do whatever my faction one is.
Right.
Yeah, just the emissary chest for the day.
Right, and if you miss a day, it's not a big deal because you have 3 build up, so you can essentially wait 3 days, go knock all of them out, wait another 3 days, go knock all them out, and just do it that way. So you don't.
That's cool.
It's like
you don't have to do it daily
right.
every day.
Yeah. I mean, the benefit of doing them is there's a lot of artifact power stuff you can get, which
right.
Yeah, you start getting that vampiric.
But you can still get all 3. You still have power from the 3 of them when you finish it, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, and in 7.1, they're already going to be introducing a lot of like cool catch-up mechanics for alts. It's not as expansive as I was hoping, but things like because currently right now you don't get world quests until you've completed all 4 zones. Well, I shouldn't say completed. You've had to get honored with all of the factions in the 4 zones.
Okay.
There's like a faction per zone. You got to get honored with all of them. Once you're honored, you get world quests.
Right.
Well, currently they're like, yeah, that's unnecessary anymore. So if you've unlocked world quests with one character, all the other characters will immediately start getting world quests at 110, regardless of what their faction is.
Okay.
So that's cool. Nice.
I'm waiting on that really for my alts because I can't grind through Saramar again. Can't do it.
Well, you're gonna have
yet.
no. You're pretty much gonna have to grind through Saramar again. The good news is things like Court of Stars, and what was the other one? The Archway. Mm-hmm. You used to only be able to get into those once you were revered. Mm-hmm. With
not
the
just
Nightfall.
revered, you had to be like 7,000 into revered. So you had to then Yeah.
But yeah, but you don't have to do that anymore. Those are open to anybody now. But your alts they're not going to open it up so you're sharing reputation, unfortunately. So you're still going to have to eventually grind Suramar rep for anything that Suramar has that you want, or the Nightfall would have.
I mean, okay. At least...
Yeah, that makes sense.
If I think for me, I don't want it because like immediately after finishing on my DK, I'm going into it with my hunter, and it's like I've already been doing these for the past month every day, so I just need to take a little step back from that.
And I think that's fine. Like the real reason to do Suramar currently is for toys, mounts, and so you can unlock the Courtway or the Court of Stars and the Arcway. Those are all shared across accounts now, so there's no real reason at the moment, unless you want to do the storyline, to go through all that Suramar stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet Chiefs.
Sweetest cheese.
I think we've been on this for a while.
Yeah.
Anyways, the general verdict is, I think Legion's awesome.
Yeah.
Check it out. If you've played WoW before and you liked it then and you've kind of like lost interest, I think this is at least worth that obligatory 3-month sub. Where you get on, you play for 3 months, and then you're done again. I think it's worth at least that.
Yeah, definitely.
Personally, I think it's worth more, but it's at least worth that.
Yeah. So, we guys want Luke Cage now?
Let's talk about Luke Cage. So,
Yeah.
I have watched the first 8 episodes at this point.
I've watched the first episode at this point.
Woo!
I've watched the first episode and then like 5, 6, and 7 or something like that.
Yeah. like more like 6 and 7 last night.
Yeah. But so Luke Cage is kind of getting a lot of heat right now for being too black.
Yeah. Black superhero in Harlem.
Yeah.
Supposed to be per comics in the 70s, but he's not. He's in current times now. But it's like...
Yeah.
Hands up,
70s,
what do you expect?
70s throwback outfit, though.
Right.
Just the nod was fantastic.
It was. Yes, it was.
Fantastic. It was just as quick as the nod in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
It was like just that fast too, because in Jessica Jones they have a nod to her like crystal outfit or whatever, and she was like, "Oh hell no, I'm not putting that on."
Not putting that on.
Right, and it was just as quick here. It was like obviously he's like, "God, I look like a damn fool," but it was a great nod for like that. Just that moment, you're like, "Yep, that's Luke Cage. That's the Luke Cage from the '70s." There he is. I don't understand how they could be too black to begin with.
No, that's just a pure racist thing to say.
Yeah.
It
Like,
just shows that you don't like black people, or because here's the thing, like a lot of the same people have watched Daredevil, and nobody said this is too white.
Yeah.
Right.
It dealt with the same sort of like basic subject. You have yourself a supervillain, you have yourself a superhero, and they clash.
Yeah.
Right? And it's
basically you have like a gang lord and a guy with some powers, and they're fighting.
Right, and it's very similar here.
Yeah.
You know, you had the Kingpin who was like in the black market into like trading people and things and guns and like the whole 9 yards, right?
Yep.
He was the same person. The only difference is their skin color and some of their attitude and their personalities.
Yep.
But it's the same sort of setup. In Luke Cage, but because it's a black people, your racism's showing just a little bit there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, when people say that, because it's not like nobody's gonna look at Vincent D'Onofrio's character as the Kingpin and be like, oh well, I would have liked this, but he was awfully white.
Yeah.
He was awfully white.
Right.
I just don't like them white people.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a way for people to say, even if they're not racist, that they're uncomfortable and they don't know how else to express their uncomfort because they're afraid. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think it's necessarily racist to say, but it definitely is bigoted, I'll say, maybe. Which seems to be like the lesser form of racism. But I think they're uncomfortable with it because it's not a culture that they're familiar with. And because
we say this, we say it's not a culture that they're familiar with.
Well,
but the only like it's just the details, man. It's just the details that are different.
Right.
They're the same. They're doing the same stuff. They're basically the same bad guy. Like Cottonmouth and the Kingpin, at least in the beginning, are the same person. You know, they're doing the same things. They're hated for the same reasons.
Yeah.
You know, and it's no different. The only difference is like some of the cultural. I don't want to say iconography, but some of the
No, I
cultural.
think iconography is a good word.
Is it a good word for this?
Iconography
Okay.
is a good word.
And that's about it. But that's
Yeah.
but it's exactly the same thing otherwise.
Yeah.
The only difference is that these people are black and the other people are white. So these
Right.
people, the people who are, they're okay with white criminals, but they're not okay with black criminals.
Right. Okay, I got a question for you then. So throughout the series, Luke Cage is very much against the thug culture of that is presented in a lot of the rest of Harlem.
Right.
You know, does that make him an Uncle Tom?
Ooh.
I don't feel like he's against. This is difficult because it's not so much that he's against the thug culture; he's against the illegal nature of the thug culture, which I guess are part and parcel. So it's really hard to like separate those two things.
Right.
But he sort of like lives and breathes in the same environment, and he can talk with some of these people who are good people, but have lived like have the same sort of mannerisms, who are part of this culture, but
Right.
not part of the shadier side of this culture. You know,
Right.
that's where he exists.
Okay.
So I think really what you're seeing is him just being against the criminal side, just like Daredevil isn't really okay with the criminal side of white people. The
Right.
big corporations taking over the small people, like
Yeah.
doing these big corporations things that the Kingpin was doing, you know, robbing people of their homes. He wasn't okay with that. But does that make him less white?
No,
No. And I don't think it makes Luke Cage less black.
I don't think it does either.
You know,
But but as I watch it and I go, I appreciate Luke Cage for like standing up for like the right way to do things. And I'm like, is that the white person in me saying that I appreciate that because he's different? Because I'm saying, oh, he acts more like a white guy. That's why I like Luke Cage. Or is it just because I think he's doing the right thing?
It could be either. But
It just makes me
here's-
think.
But
That's
here's
what it has to question.
Well, I think you bring up an interesting point, but here's like the thing though. He tries to do things within the system. The system fucking burns him.
Yeah.
The system burns him. And it takes someone else to be like, work outside of it then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's an important part of this because it's not that black and white. You know, it's an important part of him like trying to work within the system, getting screwed by the system, and then trying to turn it around and work. You know,
Yeah, outside this.
outside the system.
Yeah.
They were very careful, or perhaps I don't know, maybe deliberate or careful, maybe not, of making a lot of the people within the system also black.
Right. Well, I think they accurately portrayed what people believe New York is.
Yeah.
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 You know, as far as like in the cops precincts or whatever, like, or in the area in general, there's a lot of like black and Hispanic people in Harlem. But even on the cops, there's a lot of like different mixed race people. You know, black people, white people. People who are obviously mixed, like the one captain is obviously black and Asian
Very
of some sort,
obviously.
you know.
Like it's
And-
weird because normally when you see somebody who's a Blasian,
Right.
they are
That's funny.
they're it's a mix that is very. They look very natural still, you know.
Yeah.
Like they probably have a touch of, but this person just looks like straight Asian. She looks Asian, feature wise, with black skin. Like her genes did not really mesh
Like,
very
we're
well.
definitely doing this, and we're definitely doing that.
Yeah,
Right.
did not. But she was a great character. She's a
Yeah.
fantastic character. Sad to see her go. Maybe she's not gone permanently, but
Spoilers.
She probably gone.
yeah. Spoilers, guys. Deal with it.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of spoilers,
Uh-oh.
they kill Cottonmouth about halfway through.
Yeah.
He deed.
Well, they do it. I'm not gonna say at the same time, but they do it. They start that process right as they're building up to whoever Cottonmouth is working for, or at least
Yeah.
answers to
Diamondback.
Diamondback.
Oh, I see a theme. I see it.
See the snake theme, do
you? See
you?
the theme?
Got the snake theme going on?
Yeah, so and they start to ramp up to like this thing with Diamondback. So we're about ready to get into like the next stage of it where like we see the real bad guy.
So where's the cousin come into play then?
That's actually an excellent question because like it's a weird because they keep showing this backstory, this these flashbacks to Cottonmouth's childhood and also
Right, which they did to two of their childhoods.
Yeah, both of their childhood
together.
Yeah. Cottonmouth
And they were raised in Aunt Mabel and Pistol Pete's house.
Oh.
And Grandma Mabel was she ran some criminal enterprises. That's what she'd do. Mm-hmm. But she was also good to the people on the streets. You know, if you lived in Harlem on the streets and you needed something, you went to Grandma Mabel. She helped you out. You know what I mean? If your man was beating you, you went to Grandma Mabel. And the guy, I don't remember what his name is, Juice from Sons of Anarchy, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's Shades. They call him Shades in the TV show.
Shades.
And Shades grew up in Harlem too, and he mentions like because he goes in and talks to them, or one time like, look, when your grandma was alive, your family name meant something to the people of Harlem. It was like they helped keep this place together. You know what I mean? They helped everyone on the streets or whatever. And sure, she was a criminal and corrupt as shit, but they kept everyone. They kept everything on the up and up. They're sort of like the Robin Hood criminals, if you will, in a certain fashion, in that they did care for the poor and the needy. But and they do make you really like identify some with the same way they really did with Fisk in Daredevil, where you're like, I get it. I get why he's fucked up. I understand.
They do good bad guys.
I get why they're fucked up.
Yeah.
And why they are the way they are. It's still wrong, but I get it. I understand why they are the way they are. You know.
They do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
It makes because most of you hate flashbacks, but I straight up like them in the Netflix series because
they do a good job because they're so. They spend the time. They spend the flashback time giving you so much character information that you need.
It's very compelling.
Yeah. And it's that when they do a flashback, it's going to be important, and it's not going to be just a waste of your time. They're not going to show you nonsense or whatever. It's not going to be a Family Guy flashback, but it's going to be a meaty part of the story and really inform you as to the character that you've seen, and you're going to be able to see the reflection of that in the future character that you know already from the past. They really do a good job in their flashbacks of doing that sort of things and of doing meaningful scenes that matter.
Well, the other thing that these scenes really allow for is like the thought process of, hey, Cottonmouth he's a bad dude now.
Right.
But he wasn't always.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to get some kind of redemption?
Maybe.
Answer in his case is no.
No. No.
But you feel like that can happen.
You never know. Jesus may redeem him, bro. It's cool.
I'm just saying, you feel like that can happen. You feel like that can happen. You felt that way about Kilgrave?
Yeah.
Like, strongly at one point.
Yeah, there was a few
You felt
times.
strongly at one point that he was...
Maybe they were gonna turn him.
They're gonna try and redeem him
Come back to the
somewhat.
good side.
Yeah. That it was gonna be happy for him, but maybe he'd be not the terrible, shitty, rapist bastard that he was.
Right.
And that's interesting.
God, Kilgrave was such a fucked up bad guy.
Kilgrave?
Yeah.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He was so.
Oh, yeah. He was an easy bad guy.
Jessica. But and I love all the tie-ins that they do with all they tie everything in. There's always like, and sometimes it's not by a lot. Sometimes it's just a mention here or there. But a lot of times they do like. At first, I thought it was going to be a big thing here in Luke Cage. The tie-ins were going to be small, but a lot of it isn't. A lot of it is like he's in Harlem because the shit he was dealing with before with Jessica Jones was too fucking much.
Yeah.
And he left because he needed to get his head on straight. He was dealing with too much. It was too emotional. He was dealing with, like, he slept with a girl who killed his wife. Like, it was rough on him. And so that's why he moves down to Harlem.
Yeah.
And this is, like, a very consistent theme that he talks about. And so, it's a very strong, cohesive universe.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to get the full the full backstory on Luke Cage, though. Because we don't have it all yet.
We don't have it all yet. We know that his name is Carl Lucas.
And there, you what you didn't see is one of the episodes that happens in Seagate Prison, where there's a lot of flashbacks to Seagate Prison. You see what he went through there.
Right.
But what we don't see is why he ends up in Seagate Prison to begin with.
Right. What he did.
Well, he didn't do anything. Because he says he's innocent, and we have no reason to not believe the main character in this case.
Well, but this is the interesting thing that Marvel likes to do, and I'm hoping they do it with him, is that he is innocent, in essence of whatever but he contributed to this bad thing happening in some way that he feels responsible.
Right.
And I'm hoping to see this.
Well, he supposedly got betrayed because he used to be a law enforcement officer, sheriff, I think he was, of some sort, and he got betrayed by his partner and
who is going
put away
to be
for jail. Probably gonna be Diamondback.
Probably gonna be Diamondback.
Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
But,
and the reason why we only know this is because we looked up Diamondback last night. Because I didn't know who Diamondback was.
Yeah.
It sounded familiar, but I didn't know who he was. But it says that he was best friends and Luke Cage's
best friend and partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Luke Cage.
Unless they're talking domestic partners. I'm not judging.
I'm not judging either, bro.
All I know is that
I get it, my Coulter.
I would normally say that you might be right, but Luke Cage definitely bats
Oh,
for
yeah.
the other team. Not for the male team. He definitely he sleeps with a lot of women. He gets all the chicks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys, how many episodes are there total?
12, I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked for sure. 12 or
You're
13.
8 in?
8 in.
And you are...
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
So-
guess, you guys kind of probably watch it together, so...
Yeah, so, but yeah, so I'm interested to see, my guess is we're going to see, when we get Diamondback introduced, probably 9 or 10.
I would
my
say the
guess.
next one.
My guess won't be till 10, like 9 or 10.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And
It's-
Diamondback will be
it's-
introduced, and we'll find out that Diamondback and Cage have a history.
Yeah, it's not gonna. It'll be interesting to see if they actually tie it up, because they spent a lot of time on Cottonmouth, 8 episodes basically.
Yeah.
So
Well, they'll tie it up enough. They'll tie it up like they tie up all the Netflix series, right? Except for Jessica Jones, which got tied up pretty well.
yeah,
Because Kilgrave got deed. And
Yeah.
It's not a lot of, but Jessica Jones is still like, what's she gonna do? Who's she gonna become? You still don't know where she's gonna go from here. So, and I'm actually interested to see what they do with Jessica Jones too, because they've already announced there will be a second season of Jessica Jones.
but is that after
so-
the Defenders?
It'll be after the Defenders.
Yeah.
You'll get Daredevil 3 and Jessica Jones 2 after the Defenders.
And a Punisher. You're getting a Punisher.
Yeah.
And a Punisher.
As far as I'm concerned, they can keep doing Netflix series
Yeah.
until they get bad.
I'm good with not going to the theaters anymore. Let's just watch it on Netflix.
Until they get bad.
Yeah.
So, but they definitely are adult themed.
Well, okay. Switching
down.
gears real quick here. What's the next Marvel movie coming out? Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange, yeah.
Next month.
And then after that is what, Black Panther? Or is it
Early-
Guardians 2?
It's
Is
whatever.
it?
It's early 2017. I don't
It's
know.
not Infinity Wars 1, is it?
No, Infinity Wars is until like middle next year, I think. Let's check the internet. Dear internets.
Infinity
Tell
Wars 1
us
is
all the
well on the way
things.
though.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
for it. It's
Yeah.
going to be good.
Marvel movie schedule. Give me all the stuff. Doctor Strange is definitely the one this year. This is the next one coming up. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, yeah.
July 7th, 2017, because they bumped Thor to November 3rd, 2017 for that movie. And then Black Panther, February 16th, 2018. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, July 6th, 2018. Bro, what are you doing over there?
Stopping a cat.
No, that can't be all of them, right? Because they don't even have,
It can be.
Well, it goes from there. It goes to Captain Marvel, March 18th, 2019, and then Avengers Infinity War Part 2, May 3rd, 2019. But there's no Infinity War Part 1 on this list right here that I'm looking at. So let's find a different graphic to explain it to us.
Oh, yeah, it's not that big a deal. Anyway,
YouTube heroes.
YouTube heroes. Moving on, yeah.
YouTube heroes.
New segment.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that haven't really been paying attention to what YouTube's doing or what their next biggest idea and greatest thing is, now, unless I misunderstood this, correct me if I'm wrong, they're setting it up to where people who contribute a lot of content can then turn around and judge other people's content to whether it needs to be flagged to be removed. Or
Not content contributors.
No, they're not.
Not content people. They're people who help out doing YouTube things. Like, there are a lot of people who will volunteer. If, like, let's say I like a particular YouTuber, right? Let's say I'm a huge DeFranco fan. I can volunteer to add, like, comment.
Wait,
not
who's
comments.
DeFranco?
I still haven't. I still know.
So I'm a huge Philly D fan. And I'm like, okay, I will go in and add, like, the, God, the word totally escaped my mind right now. The words, I'll write, like the words you're saying, I'll type them in on the screen.
Like the captions.
Yeah, captions. I'll add captions to your videos so people who are hard of hearing can still watch and enjoy your videos. Because he doesn't do that. You can add captions to videos. So people who are just on YouTube, who have an account, not necessarily create content, can do that sort of thing. Will get rewarded for doing so by getting experience points and leveling up in the YouTube hero system to be different levels.
Now, what does different levels get you?
Well, at the lower levels, you can add captions,
Right.
and do stuff like that. Help. You can mark comments to be removed,
Okay.
but you can't
So
necessarily
someone's trolling
remove.
pretty hard,
but
you can like, flag it.
Right. You can flag comments, so they're gone. Right. So if someone's like just putting in swear words over and over again, you can get rid of that comments from the feed.
So sounds pretty cool. Sounds like something good, right?
And then as you get higher and higher up, you get to the point where you reach level 3, where you can literally, and they use the term mass flag videos.
Yes, in quotation.
Mass flag videos, which from the way they showed it, looks like he's just picking videos out and removing them from YouTube. Now, as a content creator, if you get 3 of your videos flagged to be removed from YouTube, they ban your channel. And you are done creating shit until you can, like, either appeal those bans, those flags, or do something else.
Which the appealing process we've seen with like YouTube Red and stuff like that is a long process. It's not something that happens over a couple of days. Like I've seen people who I've watched who are part of the Minecraft server and like all their stuff doing like video game things be locked out for a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, okay, let's say that you flag videos right there. So you have to put in a little bit of work as a troll to be able to just troll everybody at that point.
Right. Well, but there's so many people because there's no, you don't work for YouTube. You're not getting paid. You're just out here mass flagging videos to be removed based on your own feelings about the video, I guess. Yeah. Like, there's not necessarily guidelines. No one knows for sure yet how it really, really works.
Well, here's the other thing that you can do that is even a little bit more insidious, because if you get something that is flagged and removed from your channel, your channel gets shut down. That's like bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, but the person knows it. They're aware at this point. You can also flag things to have things demonetized.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so,
they've been doing that for a long time because there's been a scandal about that in general recently.
Oh yeah. It's just gonna get worse.
Yeah. It's just gonna get worse.
It's just gonna get worse.
Yeah, because they've been demonetizing videos for a long time because they're not advertiser friendly and not telling anyone that they were demonetized.
Oh, fun.
And so they recently started telling people that they had demonetized videos, and everyone's like, "Why are you doing that?" And they're like, "Oh, we've been doing that for 2 years, and you didn't tell us for that time."
Yeah.
No, we didn't tell you.
Yeah.
We just been marking your videos to be demonetized and haven't been telling you.
The thing with this YouTube Heroes though is the reason why they're doing this, from what I've read, from what I've seen discussed, is that they simply cannot. YouTube's too big for its own britches. Mm-hmm. They cannot police everything that they have in their
They
site.
don't make enough money as YouTube to pay enough people to police the whole site.
It's not possible.
So their solution is to open it up to level 3 YouTube Heroes.
Yeah, their solution is to literally allow a whole lot of people to come in, more people than because content creation is more work than just flagging shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to have more YouTube heroes who are going to go rampant and be unchecked, because if you can't police your own videos, you're not going to be able to police the like 10, 20, 30 plus people more per video.
Yeah, who are out there flagging stuff or doing whatever.
You're
Right.
not, yeah, it's just not going to be possible.
You have to rely on them to be good for the community. And the internet has shown us over and over and over again that people will not be good for the community.
That's right.
They will not do that.
Well, it's different
The internet
because
will
YouTube's
not,
doing it.
They will not. No, it's not different. It's not different at all. The people involved in internet communities will not do what's good for the community 99% of the time.
They don't think that far ahead. They just and I wish I would like to sit here and say it's like, oh, it's a bunch of kids, but it's not.
No.
It's just people who are short-sighted and idiotic, and it's a real shame, but that's just the way. I mean, let's just take a quick example here of Candid.
Candid
Is a website, or is it not a website, but
it's an app.
Yeah, an app.
It's an app.
An app created so people can everyone's anonymous all the time.
Yep.
Period. Everyone's
Every
anonymous.
time you post, you're given a separate adjectives animal name.
Sort of like the original 4chan where you just get numbers.
Correct. Exactly like that. But instead of numbers, you get like witty mandrill or sparkling octopus or whatever else. And anytime you post a different place, you're a different thing. So there's no way to follow who's who and what's what.
Right.
Everything's completely anonymous.
And they do this because, hey, this way we can have an honest conversation. But here's the thing. When you give people carte blanche to lie, nothing's going to be honest.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's going to be a bunch of shitposting trolls and lies. And that's what it is.
And that's exactly what it is. They do have some dank memes, though. The dankest memes.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
The dankest of memes.
So
I
getting
spent
back...
some time perusing the Candid.
Oh, I don't want to.
And it's basically 4chan light. Like, it hasn't gotten to, like, 4chan levels of depravity. Okay?
Well, that makes it safer anyway.
Right. It's basically 4chan for white people, or if you will. It's for safe people. It's like 4chan for people who are like, no, that's 4chan's too much for me. But they can go to Candid, it's still shitpost. On Candid.
So basically, looking at like examples in the past of when people just had far too much rain to police themselves, it doesn't happen, and we end up with Candid, YouTube heroes. Likewise, is going to be an absolute shitstorm. Is my guess.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to end up with... There's already a problem on YouTube with people's followers being like out of control army.
Yeah.
And doing like someone will say like, I don't like that guy, and so their followers will be like, okay, I'll go to that guy's channel, I dislike all of his videos, what's up now?
Oh, yeah, we'll just be shitty and we'll harass him, and it's terrible.
Yeah. And they'll be like, no, nobody's like, I've never seen a YouTube video where anyone sends their followers to do anything like that, but I see the effects of it when people just talk about other people.
Quite the opposite. I've seen a lot of videos where people are like, hey, my followers, don't do that.
Right.
And
Don't
they're like,
go and do that.
They're like, we know what you really want.
We know what you right. Got it. We won't do that.
No, seriously, don't do it.
Got it.
We won't do it.
We won't. We're not gonna definitely. I'm not typing that in right now.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's YouTube Heroes. Terrible idea. We'll have to see. We'll keep abreast of it and see how like things roll in.
It's gonna be interesting for sure.
Anyways, let's do quick closing blurbs.
Quick closing.
My blurb is go watch Keijo.
Keijo?
The anime Keijo. Go watch it.
That would be your blurb.
That's my blurb.
I was not prepared.
Doesn't matter. Pick anything. False. Roby, next.
Incorrect. Your blurb wrong.
That could have been your blurb.
My blurb, go check us out, RSGPodcast.com. Bitches. Stole it.
You fucking would.
I would.
You
Why
would
not?
self-aggrandize in your blurb. You fucking would. Check out me. I'm awesome. I'm the
Yeah,
best.
look at me.
Is
My
that your
blurb
blurb?
is Ryan is selfish. Look at him self-aggrandizing. What a narcissist.
All right. Anyways, yeah. Close this out, sir.
All right. Well, thank you for coming back and listening to us for episode 90. Back in action. RSG Podcast rebooted. All the hashtags that, meet that criteria.
That's how we do it, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. Check us out at rsgpodcast.com, Facebook at Random Subject Generator, Twitter at RSG Podcast. And, yeah, thanks for coming out.